All right, so 2.5 talks about applications of sets. And what we're going to be doing here, guys, we're going to be drawing Venn diagrams to help us solve these problems, okay? So it says, draw a Venn diagram to answer the following questions. Dunkin' Donut purchases. It says Dunkin' Donut collected the following information regarding purchases from 100 of its customers. Okay, it says 65 purchased coffee, 41 purchased donuts, 22 purchased coffee and donuts. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to make a box like this. Okay. We're going to put one circle for donuts. We're going to put one circle for coffee. So I'm going to call this donuts. I'll call that one there coffee. Okay, so the way I'm going to sort of do these problems is I'm actually going to start from this piece right here. It says 22 bought both. So that 22, guys, is going to go right here in the middle. Okay, so if 22 bought coffee and donuts, then I'm going to work my way back up. So look what it says here, 41 bought donuts. Well, 41 bought donuts, but these 22 are part of that 41 because these 22 still bought a donut. So we want to figure out how many people only bought a donut and didn't buy any coffee. So first thing I'm going to do here is, let me get my calculator. Here we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 41 minus 22. So 41 minus 22, 19. Okay, so right here we're going to have the number 19. Okay, we'll do the same thing for the coffee. So 22 bought both coffee and donuts. So these 65 people that bought coffee, those 22 are part of that 65. Okay, so we're going to go 65 minus 22. That's going to give us 43. Okay. All right. Now, the one thing I want to mention here is, here we go. Look what it says. They surveyed 100 customers, all right? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to add up all those numbers that I have here. I'm going to add 19, 22, and 43. So 19 plus 22 plus 43. That gives me a total of 84. Okay, well, if we had 100 customers, 84 of them are here. That means that 100 minus 84, that would be 16. There's 16 people that are going to be over here. They didn't buy a donut. They didn't buy coffee. They went to Dunkin' Donuts, but they didn't buy those things. They might have bought something else, okay? All right. Now, we can go ahead and answer our questions. First question, how many people only bought coffee? Only bought coffee would have been 43. How many only bought donuts? That would be 19. How many did not purchase either of those? That would be 16. Now, guys, one thing I want you to notice is when I did this problem, I hadn't even worried so much about my ABC part yet. I was just trying to get this piece set up. And usually once I get that piece set up, I will have the answers to those questions as I go along, okay? Let's try the next one in our list. So here's the next one. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to read my problem. Real estate. The Greens are moving to Athens, Georgia. The real estate agent located 77 houses listed for sale in the Athens area and their price range. Of the houses listed for sale, 47 had a finished basement, 52 had a 3-car garage, 35 had a finished basement and a 3-car garage. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, just like we did earlier, I'm going to draw my Venn diagram. Okay, here's my first circle. Here's my second circle. Okay, and how about if we call this one the one for the basement, and we call this one G for the garage. And again, we're going to start from the bottom and we're going to work our way up. So 35 had both of them. So that 35, guys, is going to go, oh, let's find a better, different color here. And, oh, let's try plum. Okay, so 35 is going to go right there. Okay. So now we have to figure out, well, the ones that had the garage. Well, 35 of those 52 also had a garage. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take 52 minus 35. So 52 minus 35, 17. So that's going to be the number that I'm going to have right here. 47 had a finished basement. So I'm going to take 47 minus 35. 47 minus 35. That's going to leave me with 12. 12 is going to go right here. Okay. Now, one thing I want to note, look how many houses they searched. They found 77 houses, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calculator again. I'm going to add these numbers up. So I'm going to go 12 plus 35 plus 17, okay? That adds up to 64. But remember, we had 77 houses. So I say, well, what's 77 minus 64? That's going to give me 13. So the number that's going to be over here, oops, is going to be 13. Okay, so now that we have our Venn diagram, we should be able to answer our questions. Let's look at part A. How many of them had a finished basement, but not a 3-car garage? Well, that would be 12. Okay. How many had a 3-car garage, but not a finished basement? Well, that would be 17. Now, look at part C. Part C says they had either a basement or a 3-car garage. Now, guys, the either, the or, is going to be my union. So I need to take these numbers here and add them up. I want to say we did that earlier, and didn't we come up with 64? And so there's my answer for part C. Alrighty. So now let's take a look at this next one here and see if we can't figure this out. So it says resorts. In a survey of 92 resorts, it was found that 27 had a spa, 55 had a fitness center, 38 had a children's club, 13 had a spa and a fitness center, 10 had a spa and a children's club, 19 had a fitness center and children's club, and 7 had all 3 features. Okay, so first thing I want you to notice, go here, 1, 2, 3. This Venn diagram, guys, is going to be one where we're going to have 3 circles. Okay? So I'm going to try to make my circles as big as possible. The bigger that I make them, or the cleaner that I make them, the easier this is going to be, okay? So let's go like this. Let's say that's the spa. Let's say this one here is for the fitness center. And let's say this one down here is for the children's club, okay? Just like we did earlier, we're going to work our way from the bottom up. Look what it says right here. 7 had all 3. This is where all 3 circles overlap. Okay, 7 had all 3. Okay. Now, let me get, here we go. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Here we go. Okay, then it says 19 had a fitness center and a children's club. So I want you to notice that here's fitness center, here's children's club. So it's telling me that this overlap right here has to add up to the number 19, okay? Well, if that's going to add up to the number 19, and this is already 7, this here would have to be 12, because that will give me my 19, okay? So I'm going to put little checks by the ones we've already done, okay? 10 had a spa and a children's club. So here's spa, okay? And here's children's club. So now what that part's telling me is that this right here, this overlap has to add up to 10. Well, if that's 7, then this one here is going to have to be 3. Okay. Put a little check on that one. Now, 13 had a spa and a fitness center. So here's spa. Okay. Here's fitness center. So where these circles overlap right there, that number has to add up to the number 13. Well, if that's a 7, then this right here has to be a 6. Okay. Because they add up to 13, right? Okay, so now let's see if we can figure out the next one. 38 had a children's club. So I want you to notice something here. Let me do this. Let's just go with black. Okay, and I'll make the circle maybe a little thicker. Okay, so let's see. 38 had a children's club. Well, everybody that's in this circle has a children's club, okay? So if 38 had a children's club, what I need to do is I need to add these three numbers together. Oops. There we go. I need to add these three numbers together first. So 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 12 is 22, okay? So there's a total of 38. I'm going to take 38 minus 22, okay? That's going to give me 16. So that's telling me that the number right here is going to be 16, because if I take all those numbers inside that circle and add them up, it'll give me the number 38. Okay. Now, let's go with fitness center. Okay. So, here we go. Okay. Fitness center. Everybody in this circle has a fitness center. So first, let's add the numbers up inside. So 6 and 7 is 13. 13 and another 12 should be 25. Okay, so that's 25. So now if I have 55, 55 minus 25, that's going to leave me with 30. So this number right here is going to be 30, right? Because if I add everybody inside that red circle, it would give me 55. Okay. And we have one more. Okay. Everybody inside this circle here has a spa. Okay, so let's take a look. So 3 and 7 is 10, and 6 is 16. Will 27 have a spa? So I'm going to figure out now what's 27 minus 16. That's going to give me 11. So the number that's going to go right here is going to be 11. Okay. Now, guys, I still have one more number I have to figure out. Okay. Remember what we had a total of. We had a total of 92 resorts, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all the numbers on the inside of the circle. I'm going to subtract it from 92, and that's going to give me the number that I'm going to put over here, okay? So let me move my calculator a little bit. So we already have 11. We're going to add 6 plus 3 plus 7 plus 16 plus 12 plus 30, that gives me 85. We had a total of 92, so 92 minus 85 is going to give me 7. Okay, so that's telling me the number that over here is going to be 7. Those 7 resorts don't have a spa, they don't have a fitness center, they don't have a children's club, they probably don't have any customers because they don't have any of those things, right? Okie dokie. Now, let's see if we can answer our questions based on what we have. Okay, take a look here. It says, how many of the results only had a spa? All they have is a spa. Well, that would be those 11 right there. Okay. Now, exactly one of these features. Okay, exactly one. Exactly one is going to be either they only have the spa, or they only have the fitness center, or they only have the children's club. So those three numbers that I highlighted, I'm going to add them together, okay? So we're going to say 11 plus 30 plus 16 gives me 57, okay? So right here, we're going to type in 57, okay? All right, and so let me pause this real quick. All right. So the next part here says at least one of these features, okay? So let's think about what the term at least one means. Okay, let me write these numbers back in. That was an 11, and that was a 30. Okay, so at least one means they have either one, or they have two, or they have three of the features, okay? So remember, what that means is they either have the 1, which would be the 11, the 30, the 16, they would have 2, the 3, the 6, the 2, the 12, or they would have 3, all 7, right? So I want to say that when we added up all those numbers, I don't know, remember how much it was, but easy way to figure that out. If this is 7, 92 minus 7, I guess it was 85, wasn't it? 85. Okay, so 85 is at least one of those features. And again, all we're really doing is just adding all those numbers up. Okay. Now, exactly two of the features, exactly two would be 6, 3, and 12. Okay. So 12 plus 3 is 15, plus another 6 would be 21. And then part E, none of these features, that's the 7 over there, right? Okay, so guys, we're going to do a few more like this. Usually the first one we do is always a little bit difficult, but we're going to do a couple more. I guarantee by the time we get to the last problem, you're going to have a good feeling about these, okay? So let's take a look at the next one here. Cultural activities. Let's take a look. It says 33 U.S. cities. So there's 33 of them. I'm going to write that right here, okay? Were researched to determine whether they had a professional sports team, a symphony, or a children's museum. And what did we find out? We had 16 had a professional sports team, 17 had a symphony, 15 had a museum, 11 had a sports team and a symphony, 7 had a sports team and a children's museum, 9 had a symphony and a children's museum, 5 had all three. Okay, so just like we did before, I'm going to draw a big rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to put one circle there, okay, and my second circle here, good, and my third circle right there, okay. And so what do we have? We have the professional sports team, we have the symphony, and we have the museum, okay? Guys, just like we did earlier, I'm going to work my way from the bottom up. 5 had all three, so that 5 is going to go right there, okay? Put a little check next to it. Now, 9 had a symphony and a museum. So guys, here's symphony, right? The red circle. The green circle is the museum. So where those two circles overlap, this whole region right here has to add up to the number 9. If that's a 5, that one has to be a 4. So let's check that guy off. Okay. 7 had a professional sports team and a children's museum. So here's my professional sports team, the black circle. The museum is the green circle. So this is where those two circles overlap. That number has to add up to 7. Well, if this is a 5, that one's going to have to be a 2. Okay. 11 had a professional sports team and a symphony. So here's my professional sports team. Here's my symphony. This is where those two circles overlap. That number has to add up to 11. If this is a 5, that one there must be a 6. Okay. Okay, 15 had a children's museum. So everybody in the green circle has to add up to the number 15. Well, look, 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 4 is 11. If we have to add up to 15, this guy is going to be 4. Okay, 17 had a symphony. So everybody in the red circle has to add up to 17. Well, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. This one here must be 2. Okay. 16 had a professional sports team. Okay, so everybody in the black circle has to add up to 16. So 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. So this one must be 3. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add up all the numbers inside that circle. Okay. So let's go 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus another 4 plus 2. That gives me 26, right? The total was 33. So 33 minus 26 is going to give me 7, okay? So again, the number on the outside over here is going to be 7. All right, now that we have that, we can answer our questions. So let's take a look here. How many only had a professional sports team? That would be 3. Okay. Look at part B. How many had a professional sports team and a symphony, but not a museum? So professional sports team and a symphony, but not a museum, that would be that 6 right there, right? Professional sports team and a symphony, but no museum. That would be those 6. Okay. Now look at the next one. It says a professional sports team or a symphony. Okay, so what does that mean? We want everybody inside this professional sports team. We want everybody inside the symphony. So I'm going to take those two circles, guys, and I'm going to add all those numbers up, okay? So I'm going to take 3 plus 2 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4. Everybody inside those 2 circles, that's going to give me 22. Okay? So let me write that here, 22. Okay. All right. Now, look at part D. Part D says a professional sports team or a symphony, but not a museum. So let me see if we can sort of fix that here. Okay. So let's see. Let's try using this blue pen. Okay, professional sports team or a symphony, but not a museum. So I want everybody inside the black circle, everybody inside the red circle, but I don't want the ones in the green. I'm just going to use those right there. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 2 more is going to give me 11. Okay. And then exactly 2 activities, guys. Exactly 2. I need to do that. All right, so exactly 2. Did I mess up? No, I think we're good. Yeah, exactly 2 is going to be this one, and that one. Those are my exactly 2s. So 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 4 is another 12. Okay. All right. So let's try the next one that we have here, okay? And let's see if we can figure this one out. And so first thing I'm going to do, guys, just like we did earlier, one real big box, okay? Let me start reading. So first off, 85 customers at Barnes & Noble regarding the types of books that they purchased. So we have mysteries, science fiction, romance, mysteries and science fiction and romance, mysteries and romance, and all 3, okay? So let's do this. The first one here is going to be mysteries, and then we have, say, science fiction, and then say we have romance. So we call that one romance. We'll call this one here, oops. So let's see, the red is science fiction, and the first one here was mysteries, okay? Just like we did earlier, we're going to go away from the bottom up, okay? So let's see, 2 bought all 3 types of books. So that 2 is going to be my center number, okay? Boom. All right, 11 bought mysteries and romance. So here's mysteries, here's romance, 11. This is going to be this number here. That's 2. That'll be a 9, okay? Science fiction and romance. So here's science fiction, here's romance. That number has to add up to 5. If this is already a 2, that one must be a 3. Okay. 13 bought mysteries and science fiction. So here's mysteries, here's science fiction. So this number here in the middle, this whole sort of football, is going to have to add up to 13. If that's 2, that one there has to be an 11. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the next one. It says 29 bought romance. Okay, so everybody in the green circle has to add up to 29. Let's take a look. So 9 and 2 and 3. Let me clear this out. So 9 plus 2 plus 3. That's 14. And we said how many? 29. So I'm going to go 29 minus 14. That'll leave me with 15. So that's going to be my number. Oops. Oh, come on. There we go. That's going to be my number right there. Okay. 33 bought science fiction. So we're going to take 11 and 2 and 3 and add those numbers up. So let me clear this out. 11 plus 2 plus 3 is 16. Okay, so I'm going to do 33 minus 16. 33 minus 16 is 17. So this number over here will be a 17. And one last one, 44 bought mysteries. Okay, so everybody in the black circle. So I'm going to take 9 and 2 and 11. So let me clear this out. 9 plus 2 plus 11 is 22. So 44, oops, that's too many fours. 44 minus 22, still 22. That's going to go right there. And we cannot forget the last part, guys. We're going to add them all up so we can figure out what's going to be the number over here on the side, okay? So let me clear this out. Let's go 22 plus 9 plus 2 plus 11 plus 15 plus 3 plus 17. That adds up to 79. So now I'm going to go 85 minus 79 gives me a total of 6. Okay. So my number that's going to be over here on the outside will be a 6. Oh, why is it doing that again? There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. How many only bought mysteries? We know that's going to be 22. Okay. What about those that bought mysteries and science fiction, but not romance? So mysteries and science fiction. So guys, and would be where they overlap. So we want these numbers here, but we don't want to include the romance. So we're only going to use the number 11. Okay? Now, mysteries or science fiction would say, let's take everybody in this first circle, in the black circle. Let's take everybody in the red circle. Let's add them together. So let me do that first. Let's clear this out. So I'm going to take 22 plus 9 plus 2 plus 11 plus 3 plus 17. That's going to give me a total of 64. Okay, now I want to explain something here, guys. Sometimes people say, why are you including those numbers? Because as long as they're in the black circle and as long as they're in the red circle, they are either a mystery or a science fiction. Now, they could be romance as well, but they're still a mystery. They're still a science fiction because they're still in that mystery circle or science fiction circle. Okay. Now, part D says mysteries or science fiction. Okay, so guys, remember mysteries or science fictions means let's take everybody in the black circle. Let's take everybody in the red circle. But we don't want the ones in the green. Okay? So we're only looking at 22, 11, and 17. So we'll go 22 plus 11 plus 17, 50. Okay? And finally, the last part, exactly two types would be 9, 11, and 3. So 9, 11 is 20, would be those numbers right here. Those are exactly two types. 9 and 11 is 20 plus 3 is going to give me 23. Okay. All right. So I think this is our last problem here. And again, I'm hoping that as we're going through these, they're coming a little bit easier. So let's take a look. First thing I'm going to do again, guys, just like I've done before, is draw a big rectangle. The one thing I want to mention is when you're doing your homework, I know you're using my math lab to do this, take some paper. And for every one of these problems that you have to do, especially in 2.5, just draw the picture. It's going to make it so much easier for y'all to do, okay? A lot of times people want to kind of look at it and see if they can figure it out in their head. Trust me, you can't. Write it out. It'll be a lot easier to do. Okay, so let's take a look. We have 30 employees. So we have people who are cooking food, we have people who are washing dishes, and we have people who are working the cash register. So I'll go C for cash register, D for washing dishes, and F for cooking food. Okay, so now we're going to go from the bottom up, right? Okay, so 2. 2 did all 3. There's my 2. Okay, 3 cooked food and operated the dishwasher. Okay, so this, here we go. Food and dishes, right? Or, yeah, sorry, food and cash register. I'm sorry. Here we go. So food and cash register, this number is going to have to add up to 3. If that's a 2, we know that's going to be a 1. Okay. 5 washed dishes and operated the cash register. So the red and the green, the overlap is going to have to add up to 5. If that's a 2, this must be a 3. Okay. 4 cooked food and washed dishes. This is going to have to add up to 4. If that's a 2, that's also going to be a 2. Okay. 18 operated the cash register. So everybody in the green circle is going to add up to 18. So 3 and 2 is 5, and 1 more is 6. 18 minus 6, that's going to give me a 12 right there. Okay. 9 washed dishes. Okay, so everybody in the red circle is going to add up to 9. So 2 and 2 is 4, and 3 is 7. If this is going to add up to 9, that must be a 2. Okay. And 8 cooked food. So everybody in the black circle has to add up to 8. 2 and 2 is 4, and 1 more is 5, so this one here must be a 3. Now remember, I still need to figure out, is there a number on the outside, right? So let's add up all those numbers. 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus another 2 plus 12 plus 3 plus 1 more 2. That gives me 25. We had a total of 30. So the number on the outside over here, guys, should be a 5. Okay, now let's see if we can answer our questions. How many only cooked food? All they did is cook food. That would be 3. How many only operated the cash register? That would be 12. Okay, how many washed dishes and the cash register? So washed dishes is here. The cash register is here. If it's an and, we're looking for the overlap. But we don't want the ones that cooked food, so we would only be looking at those 3. Okay. Now part D says wash dishes or operated the cash register, but did not cook food. So here's wash dishes. That's this red circle. Okay. Here's the cash register. That's this green circle. We want everybody in those 2 circles, but we don't want the ones that cooked food. We don't want these guys here. So 12 and 3 is 15, and 2 more would give me 17. And then if you remember, guys, what says at least 2 of these jobs would be this one, and this one. So 3 and 2 is 5, and 1 more is going to be 6. And that, my friends, is 2.5. That's our last problem. See, scroll down. There's nothing there.